Welcome to the first episode of Gardening with the Artsy Shaman. I recently got a camera stand thing so that you guys can see what I'm doing. It's important, you know how to garden. And a lot of it is just rotating dirt around in different locations. But it's more than just that, and I'll try to share that with you. Rotating some compost we did earlier this year, trying to get ready for next year. And to do that, you just have to pretty much throw anything that'll rot and drown. We've been taking coffee grounds, eggshells, leftover vegetable stuff, a little bit of everything to kind of re-enrich the soil. I think next year I'm going to put in some ironweed here and cardinal plant here. This is a pretty cold sun area. We've got a few other plants that are new to here that I've shown you guys. We got liatris, got some hyssop here. Passion flowers growing in here. It's coming up nice. It's pretty fast growing, as you can see. When I first got it, it was about that long. It's a very fast growing perennial. I know it's hideously invasive, but the whole plan is to tack on some lattice work here along the shed and just have it take over to make it look nice there. Next, what we're going to work on, I'm going to drop things down here. This stand will let me do all kinds of fun stuff. We're going to do a little bit of weeding. Everyone loves weeding, right? It's the best part of gardening. So we've got all kinds of wild strawberry and other miscellaneous nonsense. Tilt you guys down just a little bit. There we go. The unfortunate part about having open ground is, see if this is going to work like I want it to. Stuff like thistle takes over. It's a pretty plant when it flowers out, national flower of Scotland. It's because you can cut an Englishman's throat with it. But it is not fun to step on for those of us that like to walk around barefoot and all that good stuff. So we'll just pluck all this out, get this wild strawberry out where we can, or mock strawberry, Indian strawberry, whatever you want to call it. It's no good. We don't want it taking over our garden here. So we'll pluck all this out as we can. Shouldn't take too terribly long to weed out what we want here. What we don't want, rather, because we see it's kind of trying to crowd out our little spice bush there. We do not want it to do that. That is no good. So we'll just work on ripping all this out. I probably won't weed this too aggressively just because it doesn't really matter at the moment, but I've been trying to clean them out away from the other plants that I've got here already established, just so they have no overall competition. We do not want the plants that we like to have to fight the ones that we don't. And I know a wise man once said a weed is just a flower that lost its way, but while that is a deep comment, I do not want a garden of thistle. Just not my thing. If you like that kind of thing, I guess let me know. Tell me why, first off. You just like being stabbed, maybe? I don't. I do not like being stabbed. So we're getting this kind of cleaned up, just to make it look pretty. Everything that's back here should slowly take over. All of this should fill in with the plants that we put in the ground. That's why there's so much open space back here, except for on the side of the house, which is where I will be putting in some other stuff next year. It's just important to occasionally assert your plant dominance and get some of this stuff out of here. I'm going to frame over here. Hanging out, getting rid of some of this wild strawberry or ground ivy or whatever this is. I'm not a fan of it. It kind of tries to take over the place. not one to be told what to do by people, let alone a plant. So we're gonna work on this guy now. Let's see, I don't want to put you. I'll put you over here. So this guy right here, you can see it, is called a hacksapberry. Or a redneck blueberry is what I've been calling them. Because blueberries don't grow in Ohio very well, I've been kind of trying to find some sort of plant that can scratch my blueberry itch. Because if I can grow it at home, and I prefer to do so, hacksap is in the honeysuckle family. And before you pucker your butthole with the concept of a honeysuckle, it is non-invasive. So that means it won't take over everything. I know, people that hate honeysuckle don't believe me, but it will not take over. This guy was actually very sad and dead. You can still kind of see some of the areas here that are a little sad, but this new location that we put it in has certainly helped to make things a little better for it. Had a little bit of transplant shock initially, but overall, we are part of the course for a happy plant. Very happy plant. Get this thistle out of here. Thistle's really bad around here for some reason. I keep blaming it on someone feeding their birds Niger seed, thistle seed, or whatever it's called. Which is nice for those birds. They like it. But, you know, those of us that have to deal with that don't. You know, it's not great to have spiky death plant everywhere. It's a nice purple shade, so you think I'd tolerate it when it flowers out, but there's no way. There's no way that I am going to let that stuff go. Work on our lavenders here. Get you guys in a good spot so you can at least vaguely see what I'm doing. I'm just pulling some weeds. Just a yanking. Trying to chuck stuff away from the flowers they're trying to choke, and not instead throw them on top. More and more thistle all over the place. That's okay. Fall will come along and kill it. I'm going to put down, as you can kind of see here, rice hulls, which, as you all know, I work, or maybe you don't, I work in the brewing industry in some aspect or another. They also make a really good top coat for open ground, and they break down into some very nice, nourishing plant material. See here, these guys are doing okay. It's rock grit there that I dump on there. I assume it's similar to river silt. I know there's carbide in there, but that shouldn't bother anything. Wash off if it's a problem. My gourd army is here. It's just eating everything. It's on the raspberry now. The lavenders don't seem to care. We'll yank a little bit more of this mock nonsense out of here. I put some ash down here from one of the fires I did here in the late summer. And it's kind of helped out a little bit. I put these lavenders here. You can see these two dudes are smaller than the other ones. Because at the start of the summer, I went out to Amish country with a friend of mine and bought, well, way too much lavender. So I ended up planting it all over the place, but some of the locations I chose were less than ideal. Ooh, we got some raspberries to snack on. I like fresh raspberries, right? Look at these suckers. They're pretty good, actually. I know I saw another one. Come here. Look at that guy. But I'll focus on him. Come on. You can do it. Maybe. Maybe not. Well, it's a delicious blurry raspberry. So, my hope is eventually to get enough of these dudes to make some jams. Made some strawberry jam this year. It went okay. It went okay. Oh yeah, these poor dudes are covered in miscellaneous grass nonsense. So we'll put that in this hole, which we're going to fill with some shade-loving plants come next year. I've got a lobelia here now. It's native and likes the shade. I'll go up to Knollwood. They take good care of me. Figure out what it is exactly I want to do. Let you guys look at that while I weed around it. Don't know what yet. I know ironweed's the full sun I want, cardinal flower, and columbine, which are all pretty and vaguely purple, except for columbine. I think honestly, it's yellow and a little bit of purple. I don't remember. Cardinal flower's red as well. Lavender smells so good. But we're just yanking stuff out to keep plants from getting choked out. No one likes getting choked out. I guess you're into the tap out thing, which I'm not. Nor are my plants. More of a NASCAR family. Alright. So, again, the giant gourd. They were originally growing up on top of the house, and then we had a storm come by and yank them down, so this is my bird feeding arena. Yeah, they're kind of trying to choke out these guys, these lavenders, and I keep sort of trying to flop them out of the way, but they're persistent in their growing. So if we can't move this guy. Oh man, that's a big cane. Come on. It feels like I'm manhandling this gourd. Yeah, I'm actually going to cut this off. It feels like I'm manhandling this gourd, but they really don't care. Like I said, they fell a pretty good distance to the ground when they were growing initially. And they didn't really get affected by it. This is an old cane anyway, so we'll have to cut it off at the end of the season to begin with. We can early start trimming the black raspberries. Move this guy over. Is there another one of these dudes I'm going to have to cut? Yeah. No worries. All these dudes are pretty. Lesson 1, kids, is when a plant has thorns on it, watch out for them, or you get cut. There we go. Alrighty, let's move you over here. There we go. Oh, look at that. It's trying to spread out, which is fine. The wrong direction. Wanted to grow over this way, not out into my patio area there. Now, yank some of this. I don't know what this is, but I'm very not fond of it. It just keeps growing around here. Probably someone here that was here before me planted it and loved it and took care of it, and now I just spend all day yanking it. Poor plant. Woe is it. Well, there we go. As you can see, these poor little lavenders are a little stringy. You can't really see it. All right, so look at that. So they're kind of stringy at the moment, but a little bit of sun and me punching these gourds away from them should help in the long run. We'll take another gourd that's being naughty. Get over there. Okay, so now those lavenders have been unveiled. They should be just fine. Little fire pit over here that I made out of river rock. I make everything out of river rock that I can. It's a cheap alternative to buying stone from Lowe's or whatever. Put this. Put you right there. So you can kind of vaguely see what we're doing. Just more yanking. So up here we got a lot of different cool plants that I found either last year or this year, I don't remember. Vervain is here. It's a really nice plant. It's a sedative for artists back in the day. I guess those that didn't know that ganja existed or something, but they used to smoke it to help with writer's block. Sorry, the little vervain, didn't mean to yank it. This stuff grew pretty well this year. It kind of had a little problem with this grass nonsense that grows here, kind of trying to choke it out. But I think I I finally won that fight after yanking for about 2 months straight. This was originally a fairly grassy area, so I definitely picked the fight myself. They didn't start it, I did. But, you know, man versus nature, that old good struggle. And then over here we have another hyssop. This is a biblical hyssop, or blue hyssop. See if she wants to focus. It wants to look at that one. So, nice bellflowers on it. It's really pretty. It's grown a lot. It was this tiny little stick thing when I first got it. We got hyssop over here. It's a nice little dealio. More bellflowers. Trying to make things that are conducive to butterflies and hummingbirds. Since the great hummingbird migration's been going on, I guess. Oh yeah, here's another plant that I planted at one point but don't really like anymore. This is goji berry. I bought a stick of it at, I think Meijer. And I assumed it was going to die because it was, you know, this tiny little sad Charlie Brown Christmas tree of a thing. And it didn't. It made it. But unfortunately, it kind of tried to take over because this hyssop and this yarrow are huge. And it was in here for about a year trying to make its peace, and it finally got established. And I don't actually like goji berry, turns out. Well, I can't say I don't like it. I don't know when it gets ripe. And after trying for a long time to get it ripe and having awful, bitter goji berry taste in my mouth, I finally kind of gave up and decided to pull it out of the bed, to which I thought, you know, that would be the end of it. But boy, was I wrong. It's going on another, this is the second or third year I've been fighting it, and it pretty much always comes back. It's like some sort of awful boomerang. No matter how hard I throw it, it rockets back to my hand. I like this rock. It says Grandma's Garden. I keep moving it around. It's going to go here now. I can't throw it away because it just seems mean, but I'm not a grandma. Plus it was getting eaten by the ground, so I had to pull it out, which I have to every so often. So there's the front bed handled. Let's go check on our rosemary. This is a Hardy Hills rosemary, so, you know, God's willing, it will survive the winter. But I don't really know if it will or not. You know, it's anybody's guess. Ooh, I might actually not have to weed it. So look how big and healthy she is. She's a lovely looking plant. I wish the internet had smell-o-vision. God, I love this thing. Get a good cross breeze and rosemary. I'm gonna move this guy again. Hold on a second. Let's Chuck. Get this dude maxed out. So there's that. Good enough for government work. This is cosmary and Bible leaf. We used to use this stuff to stay awake during particularly long or boring sermons in the way back when times. But it's supposed to grow out, but instead it's grown straight up, and it can't quite handle the weight of its own success, so I have to keep putting these stakes down to kind of hold it up, which is, you know, sort of kind of working. And then we've got another lavender over here. My goal was to have a bed of lavenders here, but I don't think there's enough sun to do so. The rosemary doesn't mind. I'm too scared to transplant it, but it's grown fairly well for where it's at. I redid all the dirt here to drain. I dug out all the soil and put in pea gravel and sand and anything else that would help it drain, and then worked those things into the soil itself. A lot of S's. And now I should have a perfectly healthy place for rosemary to grow. So we'll find out. Here is the blackberry patch. It's growing well. This blackberry plant has been through hell. It had a fungal infestation one year, got sun damaged another, but it's growing well. We got flowers on here, we got flowers there, and there's one over here that just says "fuck yeah, concrete." which I don't pretend to understand. It's part dandelion or something, I don't know. So that's going. We'll get that to where it needs to be. And then over here, we've got our hacksappberry bush here. It was basically dead too, and moving it resurrected it. But this is the other one that we had to move this year. This is, what do they call this? Woody Betony. And it was a sad, like, I don't know, like this leaf, and that was about it when I moved it over here. But it's completely revitalized itself. And I think it'll definitely make it through the winter. I've been trying to water it fairly regularly, at least check the soil, and you see that, make sure it's still kind of, you know, a little wet at the very least. But overall, it's doing very well. I'm happy about it. Let's go check on my plant bondage. So I bought this really sad-looking honeysuckle. Again, I know, people that are scared of honeysuckle need not fear. It's a non-invasive one. I always make sure to check before I plant stuff. But I keep tying it to this big trellis I got from Papa Bezos. You can see it all the way, it's up there. And the goal is to essentially keep tying stuff to it until we've got an entire natural archway here and turn it into a hedge garden. As you can see down here, I've got, where are you at? There you go. I've got more passion flower here. And again, people whine to me that it's invasive. I know. I want it to be invasive. And hopefully it just kind of takes over everything here. And then each year, the tender perennials will die back. And the honeysuckle here will maintain. That is my hope at the very least. What actually happens, well, you never know. And we've got sweet woodruff here that I got from my friend Lisa. Hi, Lisa. That should be really nice next year. It'll spread out and fill this in. It's another perennial that's fairly okay with shade. Still kind of learning out the lay of the land of stuff here. I don't really know what grows where yet. Still figuring all that out, but it's been coming along. I'll probably do a crafting video later today and show you guys what art projects I'm working on. But for now, toodles.